In this podcast episode, Freya India discusses the complexities of modern womanhood, particularly how contemporary culture, therapy, and social media contribute to feelings of confusion and disconnection among young women. The conversation delves into the impact of therapy culture, the role of social media, and the effects of family breakdown on the mental health of Gen Z women. India begins by addressing the increasing attraction of young women to therapy culture, suggesting that it has replaced traditional religious frameworks. She argues that therapy culture has become a worldview for many, particularly since the advent of social media. Young women now interpret their lives, relationships, and emotions through a therapeutic lens, often pathologizing their experiences rather than simply acknowledging their feelings. This shift has led to a therapeutic language that elevates emotional struggles to medical issues, which can provide a sense of solace, but also complicates the understanding of ordinary human experiences like disappointment and hurt. India points out that this therapeutic worldview offers comfort similar to that of religion, but lacks the demands and restrictions that come with traditional faith. Instead of seeking salvation or adhering to moral standards, young women are encouraged to focus on self-affirmation and healing journeys. This shift has created a culture where emotional struggles are normalized, yet the language used to discuss them often detracts from the ability to address real-life problems. The conversation shifts to the pervasive influence of social media on young women's lives. India cites a study indicating that a significant percentage of adolescents in the U.S. have engaged with therapy or mental health treatment, highlighting the bleak reality of mental health among young people today. She emphasizes that while many girls are in therapy, they are also immersed in a culture that constantly reinforces therapeutic language and concepts through platforms like TikTok and Instagram. India notes that social media serves as both a source of connection and a breeding ground for anxiety. Young women often find themselves in echo chambers where they co-ruminate over their problems, leading to a cycle of anxiety and self-doubt. The algorithms of these platforms tend to amplify the voices of those who express the most extreme emotions, which can further exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and isolation. India discusses the alarming statistics surrounding family breakdown and its implications for young women. With many adolescents growing up in single-parent households or without stable family structures, the lack of guidance and support can leave them feeling lost. She argues that the absence of strong familial bonds contributes to a sense of abandonment, which manifests in anxiety and a desperate search for belonging. This breakdown of traditional family structures has led to a reliance on social media for guidance and community. Young women often turn to influencers and online communities for advice on relationships and mental health as they lack the intimate support of family members. India highlights the irony that while social media offers a platform for connection, it often fails to provide the meaningful relationships and guidance that young people desperately need. India explores the paradox of modern femininity, where young women are encouraged to embrace independence while simultaneously grappling with feelings of vulnerability. The cultural narrative often portrays dependence on others as a weakness, leading many young women to internalize the belief that they must be self-sufficient and emotionally resilient at all times. This mindset can be particularly damaging as it discourages them from seeking support and connection in their relationships. She emphasizes that true empowerment comes from recognizing the value of interdependence. Healthy relationships are built on mutual support and the ability to rely on one another. Yet the current cultural climate often stigmatizes those who express a desire for connection. India argues that this shift in perception has led to a generation of women who feel ashamed of their emotional needs and are hesitant to seek help. The discussion also touches on the normalization of promiscuity and the commodification of women's bodies in contemporary culture. India points out that many young women are influenced by social media figures who promote a lifestyle centered around sexual liberation and self-objectification. This trend can create a false sense of empowerment, as young women may feel pressured to conform to these ideals in order to gain validation and acceptance. India argues that this commodification of self-worth is detrimental, as it reduces individuals to mere objects for consumption. The pressure to present oneself in a certain way online can lead to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety, particularly when young women compare themselves to curated images of influencers. She emphasizes the importance of recognizing the difference between genuine empowerment and the superficial validation that comes from social media. Finally, India reflects on the nostalgia many young people feel for a time before the rise of smartphones and social media. She notes that a significant portion of Gen Z wishes these platforms had never existed, indicating a longing for a more authentic and less commodified experience of life. This sentiment highlights the disillusionment with the current state of relationships, love, and friendship, which have all been transformed by technology. India concludes that the challenges faced by modern women are complex and multifaceted, stemming from a combination of cultural shifts, family dynamics, and the pervasive influence of social media. She advocates for a return to meaningful connections and the importance of recognizing the value of vulnerability and interdependence in relationships. By addressing these issues, society can help young women navigate the challenges of modern life and foster a healthier understanding of themselves and their relationships.